I'd like to welcome senior forward Jordan Murphy to my far left, and to my immediate left we have senior guard Marcus Dupree McBrayer. At this time, we'll take questions. Questions for our student athletes. Luke? Okay, look, get the microphone there for Luke.
Do I announce
Yeah.
my Luke Meredith, the Associated Press. I guess for each of you, just your thoughts on where the team is at right now and what's going to be important tomorrow against Louisville.
We'll start with Jordan first.
I think our team's in a good place. Obviously, we're very confident going into tomorrow, and we're still figuring out our game plan and stuff like that, and just figuring out our plan of attack. But obviously, it's a very important game to us. It means a lot to our young guys and our older guys going out in a good way, and so I think that's about it.
Yeah, as Murph said, still figuring some things out on how we're gonna guard some of this stuff. But we feel really good about tomorrow.
Other questions?
Tim Sullivan, Louisville Courier-Journal, for both players. The angle in our town is Rick Pitino and Richard Pitino and all of that. Does that even cross your consciousness in Minnesota? Does it even come up?
Jordan first.
No, not at all. I mean, we probably see those headlines all the time, and we just take it with a grain of salt and just pass by it. It's not really something that our team's focused on. It's about our team, and it's about our team versus Louisville, and that's it.
I've been telling the guys from day one, it's not about the Pitino family, it's about Minnesota versus Louisville. So as long as we go on with the mindset, of playing for our coach, knowing what he's been through, knowing that he's came from Louisville, but also knowing that, it's just Minnesota versus Louisville, will be fine.
Other questions? One final opportunity for our student athletes. Okay, we'll go back. We've got a question here. Go ahead.
In the absence of other questions, how much contact have you had with the senior Pitino? How much has he been in your practices, and have you learned anything from him about basketball? Take all the other stuff out of it.
Jordan?
We really haven't had a lot of contact with him. Obviously, he got a new coaching job overseas, so we haven't really had a lot of contact with him this year. So, obviously, you see him tweeting all the time, just giving us his best regards. So I think that's about the most part, but we appreciate his support wherever he's at.
Yeah, before he got his job in Greece, we was able to speak to him. He gave us some pointers. Stuff on defense came in a couple games, but that's about it now. He's in Greece. So, like Murph said, we just see his tweets, giving out his best regards, and we thank him for his support.
One last opportunity before we dismiss our student athletes. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. Go back to the locker room. Again, the Minnesota locker room's open, and we'll have Coach Pitino up here shortly. 10:35. Thank you. Again, a couple reminders. Coach Patino will be up here at 10:35. The Minnesota locker room is open now until 10:50. Okay, at this time, we're going to begin our session with Coach Richard Pitino, University of Minnesota. The Golden Gophers are making their 11th NCAA tournament appearance and second in the last 3 years under Coach Pitino. Welcome to Des Moines, Coach, and opening statement, how you view tomorrow's game.
Thank you. Excited, obviously, to be here. You know, the grind of a regular season is a lot, and the goal is obviously going to an NCAA tournament. So that in itself is a great accomplishment. Proud of our guys to be able to bounce back from a lot of things out of their control last year to get back to an NCAA tournament with 5 new players, starting 2 freshmen, playing one of the toughest schedules in the country, and obviously one of the best conferences in all of college basketball. So to be here is great, you know, but we move on to a new season, and celebration's over, and now it's time to go compete for a championship and play a really, really good Louisville team.
Okay, questions, please raise your hand. Microphone holder on the left side. Please give your name and affiliation.
Richard, it's Adam Teicher with ESPN. Of all the teams you could have played in the first game here, it's Louisville. What was your reaction when you saw that team in the bracket opposite you?
Well, I was wanting to know where we were playing. Location's important to me. And then I wanted to know what day we were playing because we got a little injury with Motts that I was hoping we'd play Friday. But other than that, it was more about, okay, well, how does Louisville play? And, you know, it's get to work. Watch film on them, put together a game plan. You know, all that other stuff didn't even really cross my mind, to be honest. It was more about doing my very best to put our program in a position to win versus a really good Louisville team, a really well-coached Louisville team.
Front row. And then we'll go over to the right side. Yeah.
Edie Greeter, St. Paul Pioneer Press. With Jordan Murphy, how has he kind of picked your brain over the years to try to become a better player, and have you seen him do that?
You know, with Jordan, he is he's a thinker. You know, he's not one of those guys you need to yell and scream at. You know, he's analytical. You more need to talk to him about his game because every big guy in the country has an identity crisis. They want to be outside. They want to be shooting threes. They want to do those things. And Murph can do that. He's made some threes, but he knows where his bread is buttered. And we've talked a lot about that. You know, just do what you do well. Don't deviate from that. Be great at the thing that you're good at. And obviously, rebounding the ball, he's terrific. You know, so with Murph, it's been an evolving process of me and him communicating all the time about where we can put him in a position to succeed. And he's a very coachable kid.
Picked up things from your dad along the way of coaching in the tournament. Have you picked up more X's and O's or maybe just mentality? I mean, it seems we're so good at relaxing this time of year. But was it more strategy or more just mentality you've picked up, you think, along the way? Yeah,
I would say with most coaches that you're around, whoever you work for, the X and O part of it, you're going to evolve as a coach and you're going to do what you feel comfortable with. But it's that environment that you take from and the culture that they build and the way they are in times like this in March. You know, so I've been lucky to be around it, obviously growing up my whole life. As an assistant coach, I was in several tournaments as well. You know, you got to make it about the game. You got to enjoy this. You know, you got to enjoy the exposure and the spotlight being on your program. You got to enjoy these open practices, being able to, you know, be in front of fans and to do these things. But then you got to make it about basketball. You know, that's the biggest thing. You got to execute. You got to be tough. It's a single elimination tournament. You know, and playing at this level, obviously playing in the Big Ten tournament, you know, we were able to get 2 wins in single elimination games. So I think we understand that part of it. But you also got a lot of new guys who haven't been here before. So that may be an adjustment period throughout the course of the game as well.
Tim Sullivan, Courier-Journal, Louisville. Your dad is not known for holding his tongue, but he has not tweeted about this game. He has not texted, as far as I know, about this game. Has he been asked to be quiet?
Not by me. We spoke, nor would he listen if I told him to be quiet, by the way. So I think you know better than that. No, I spoke to him once. He's in Greece. It's not real easy to get a hold of people in Greece. You know, and we didn't talk much about anything other than asked about Motts, how he's doing. You know, asked about the team. But, you know, it's at the end of the day, my focus is totally on helping our team be put in a position to succeed. Not a whole lot else more than that.
Go to the front row.
Jody Dillman, Cardinal Authority. When you talk about the job, and I know you and Luke, I think, are pretty good friends or have been, Luke Murray, but the job that they've done, that this staff has done now that you've watched them and you know this program and knew some of the guys and the job that Chris has done this season?
Yeah, it's been really good. Whenever you're bringing in kind of fifth-year seniors and things, I mean, do they have a true freshman on the roster? They don't. So that's, obviously with them coming in here and kind of scrapping together a pretty good roster. Obviously, Jordan Wara is one of the most improved players in the country. I think offensively what they run is really, really good. Defensively, very tough. Obviously, Chris Mack, what he did at Xavier was phenomenal. So I got a lot of respect for what they do. I think Chris does a terrific job. I think Luke's one of the best up-and-coming assistant coaches in the country. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a head coaching job at some point here soon. He's really, really connected. So all those guys do a great job. I think Chris will win big there.
Got less than 10 minutes in this session. Go here and then up front. Go ahead, sir.
Joe Schmidt, KSTP in Twin Cities. Coach, you mentioned mental toughness. Is this team tougher mentally than any of your past teams? And if the answer is yes, why?
I think some of them are. Anytime you get, whether it's the Big Ten or any of these power conferences, you need to try to stay old to the best of your ability. That's hard to do with transfers and, defection and so on. But when you got Michael Hurt, Jordan Murphy, Eric Curry, Dupree McBrayer, guys like that who have played in the NCAA tournament and who have finished in the top 4 in the Big Ten, who have played on the road in the Big Ten, went undefeated in February 2 years ago. Those are the guys that need to be the voices. And, the other guys need to follow suit from there. That's what being a part of a winning program is about. You need guys in your locker room to step up. And I think we got really good leadership in there. They don't get real emotional. They're not too high. They're not too low. I try to be that way, and I think the personnel is that way as well. So they go about their business. They're not a beat-your-chest type of team. They make a three, you're not going to see a bow and arrow or anything like that. They're just going to kind of get back on defense. And that's the way I like it. It's been a fun group to be around.
We have a question on the left side aisle. Go ahead.
Coach, can you update us on what Motts was able to do yesterday and how it looks for tomorrow?
Yeah, we held him out yesterday. Still slowly coming back, getting a little bit better. That'll be a game time decision, but I think he got popped pretty good in that Purdue game. So we gotta make sure we're careful with him and do what's best for him.
Right aisle there.
Hayes Gardner, Ames Tribune. Jarvis Johnson has a unique story. What kind of role has he served on your team?
Well, I would say we did a thing called the program, which is a military kind of team building thing in the fall. And you do a bunch of different kind of team building exercises. And Jarvis, they've done the program, I think, for 7-8 years. And at the end of it, they give an MVP T-shirt to the best leader. And Jarvis was one of only 2 freshmen to be named the best leader. So from a leadership standpoint, crazy good leadership qualities. Has played off and on. You'd never know it from looking at him on the bench. I mean, he is not afraid. We talk a lot about with our guys about competitive vulnerability. Russell Westbrook is one guy. There's nobody better than him at that. Not afraid to put himself out there and compete. And that's Jarvis. He's not afraid to be emotional and pour himself into the team. His role's increased now with Eric Curry being out, Mott Stockman being questionable. He came in that game versus Michigan, and everybody was exhausted, and he was like the Energizer Bunny because he plays so hard. So I think his future is really bright.
He's standing up.
Hey, Matthew Bain, USA Today Sports. Just what has Mott's meant to the team this year, especially with Curry going down?
Yeah, Curry goes down, I believe, right before the Purdue game, and senior night, and Mott's hadn't played a lot. He had played a little bit in the non-conference and did some good things. But with Curry going down, Mott's was kind of the next guy on that depth chart to give us something. Comes in the game as 7 blocks, I believe 9 rebounds, 6 points, maybe the other way around, but changed the game. And that's what being part of a team is all about, being ready to go, not feeling sorry for yourself if you don't play. He's a terrific, terrific kid. He's been a valuable member of the team. He's never pouted, never felt sorry for himself. And that's what, like I said, what being a team is all about is, being ready when your number is called is crucial. And, so hopefully we have him back tomorrow. I don't know if we will or not, and hopefully he gets healthy more than anything.
Staying on the left side, go ahead.
Edward Ashoff, ESPN. Came in a little late, but I know earlier this week you said this isn't about you versus Louisville, but as you get closer to the game, how do you control those emotions? How do you make sure that they don't seep into your preparation or anything like that?
Oh, as you get closer, more and more, it's about the game, and it's been that way from day one. I think when you see Louisville pop up, you're more about, okay, what am I going to say to the media? How am I going to lie to the media? But I mean, I think that you have to be prepared for those questions. But from an emotion standpoint, when you play in the Big Ten, there's so many emotional games. And I learned that. I mean, I'm only 36 as a young head coach, and you have to keep your emotions in check. And I think I do a pretty decent job of that. But that ball goes up, and when I'm watching film and I'm watching Louisville play, it's about not really who the name in the front of the jersey is. I'm watching a really good team in Louisville, a really well-prepared, well-coached team with a lot of good talent. And how can I put myself in a position to help our team beat them? And I know it's going to be difficult.
And for Jarvis Johnson, it's been a complex path over the past 4 years for him, and he had a big moment on senior night. What has he brought to this team?
Yeah, Jarvis Johnson obviously was a very important recruit for me when I got to the Twin Cities. He was kind of a fringe top 100, 4-star guard that we really liked, thought he'd fit us well. And the cool thing about Jarvis is he signs with us, puts himself out there to sign for a 30-year-old head coach who hadn't really accomplished a lot as a head coach, to believe in me. And then when he's been here, he's provided unbelievable leadership. He's a voice in the locker room. Regardless of the fact that he plays, he is a voice, and a voice that the coaching staff can trust, that he's going to talk about the right things. He's been appreciative. His family's been appreciative. You don't always get that as well. So he's been a very valuable member of our program. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to play, but we all see the big picture, and we're happy that he's going to be able to graduate.
I have time for 2 more questions.
The NCAA was asked if anybody in the room said, is this a good idea to match Louisville and Minnesota, chose not to comment. What is your thought on that? Should this game have been played, or should they have found a way to match you with somebody else?
I don't really have a whole lot of opinion on it, because when I'm sitting there Selection Sunday, I'm looking around. I'm excited about the fact that I know we're in the NCAA tournament. I'll play whoever. I'm excited. There's not one part of me that isn't 1,000% honored, appreciative, humbled by the fact that we're in the NCAA tournament. It's a hard tournament to go to. Only 19% of our college basketball teams get to go to it. So you're never going to hear me ever complain about anybody that we play. And like I said, I got tons of respect for their program. Their coaching staff does a really good job. So I'm going to be very, very excited tonight leading up to this game and tomorrow. And it doesn't matter who we play. I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
Okay, one final question.
Aaron Matus with WDRB in Louisville. You mentioned Jordan, but also, Stephen Enoch and Malik Williams, a couple bigger guys that can step out and shoot. How does that affect matchups going into this game?
Yeah, the way that they play, I think from an offensive standpoint, is a coach's dream, because you got 5 guys who could step out and shoot, probably similar to Michigan in our league. Malik Williams can knock down a shot. Stephen Enoch is so big and strong down low, and the fact that he can hit a 3 is a different dimension as well. So anytime you have pick and roll and pick and pop threats, it opens the court. And obviously Jordan is that storyline from what he's been able to do, testament to him to get better and work hard and put in the time. But Malik Williams is another guy I think is a really good player. Stephen Enoch as well. So they've got really good personnel offensively and defensively. I think Chris does a good job of putting them in the right spots to put you in a bind, make you make decisions.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
Our next session will start at 11:05 with Bradley. The Gophers will be on the practice court 11 o'clock.